Everybody smiles in the same language. A smile, let your light come shining through.
Welcome to the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow podcast. I'm Sandra M., coming to you from Santa Fe, New Mexico, the land of enchantment. I interview people from all parts of the world about what happiness means to them. What are they in love with? In each episode, we'll give you a key to happiness to include in your life. And of course, we'll play a happy tune from my live Celebrate Happiness Roadshow.
A smile doesn't cost you anything. But there's so much good.
Welcome to the second season of the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow podcast. And don't forget to catch up on any episodes from season 1 you might have missed. Today we're talking to Paddy Rawal, a beloved Santa Fe executive chef who has recently come out of retirement to start Tulsi Asian Cuisine with a local influence. Paddy, a native of Mumbai, India, migrated to the U.S. in 2001 and has been in the hospitality, restaurant, quick service, and food service management business for more than 40 years and counting. As a seasoned world traveler and a qualified and experienced manager and an executive chef with knowledge of multiple international cuisines, Paddy has worked around the globe in hotels and food facilities. And in addition, he is a regular on National Food Network cooking shows. He arrived in the U.S. in 2001, where he started and owned the full-service restaurants Bombay Grill and Mumbai in Michigan. And in 2011, he came to Santa Fe, New Mexico to open Raaga in Santa Fe and in Los Ranchos, New Mexico. Next came his Santa Fe takeout Thai and Indian concept, Raaga Go. Welcome, Paddy, to the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow podcast. You know, I'm really excited to talk with you about happiness. And why is it so important in your life?
Good morning, Sandra. I'm just as happy to be on this podcast and share a little bit of my thoughts on happiness. You know, I come from India, and India has a very religious background. And at home every day, at least my mom, and God bless her soul, when she was alive and loving, she would read the Bhagwat Gita, which is a very religious book read by most everybody at home. And, you know, the Bhagwat Gita strangely talks about happiness being a state of mind that comes from living in harmony with the world. It has a true purpose to it, and it's a choice. It's not mandatory. It's a choice that one has, that you can cultivate happiness through your own actions and thoughts and attitudes. These are the key teachings of Bhagavad Gita. And so we used to listen to Mom read aloud those pages every day, and fortunately only a minuscule percentage of it has been retained in my little gray matter. So
Well, yes, but you got the message, right?
yeah.
And so, yeah, did you internalize that in some way? How did that manifest in your life? And the idea, I just love what you just said. I mean, living in harmony with the world, and you can choose your actions and your attitudes. So how did you manifest that in your own personal life? I know you're a fabulous, wonderful, outstanding chef.
You know, the lessons we learned from our parents was especially with the Bhagwat Gita. That book teaches you that happiness is found from within, not in the external world. It's from within.
Yes.
It's a choice. It's a choice. You can you can cultivate your happiness through your thoughts, your actions, your attitudes. You can share it with people. You can interact. But more important, happiness is achieved through a lot of discipline. There's very little difference between poison and nectar. There's a fine line, and discipline teaches you that difference. And so things like that is what we learned and practiced in my life, at least while I was growing up. Discipline was number one on my mind every day, every hour, every year, and I till today I practice that with myself first before I expect my friends, my team at work, and so I keep that in mind every time I do something. And so that's how I've been keeping myself sane and happy. India, if you know India, they said the godfather of India was Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi had a very popular saying where he said, happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are all in harmony. That's what he used to tell. So, things like that we were exposed to when we were growing up, and our parents taught us these little things. So I can't forget those.
I'm fascinated by what you're saying. There's very little difference between poison and nectar. So in the restaurant business, for instance, I mean, it's very interesting to me. Nectar means what? And of course, I can figure out what poison means, but very little difference, meaning it's really about a balance, or is it really about the quantity? Explain that to me.
Yes. So, see, cooking is an art.
Yes.
And a science. So, most cuisines, just not Indian, most cuisines use some sort of a herb or spice in their cooking. Now, the art is how much to use, how little to use, at what stage to use, so that the end result is a classic dish that you can't stop eating, or the first bite that you throw out because it tastes horrible. So that's what I would explain as nectar and poison. It's the same spice. Like, in New Mexico, they use a lot of cumin. They use a lot of chili. They use a lot of tamarind. They use a lot of jaggery. And parts of India, you use the same things. The art of it is to use it either sparingly or in a method whereby you release the oils in that spice to give the body and flavor to the dish. And that is something you either learn with practice, you learn by knowledge, You learn by understanding. Without all those things, one cannot reach nirvana in the cooking zone.
Join Sandra M. for her live performance of the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow, a toast to love and happiness in life, an uninhibited musical adventure guaranteed to awaken your happiness vibe. Celebrate with upbeat rhythms, love songs, and fun stories, some told by you in the audience. Sandra's musical guest and accompanist, Todd Lowry, sings his hopeful and happy originals. To book Sandra M. and the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow, email sandra@sandramcknight.com. Celebrate happiness with Sandra M.
Interesting. You cannot reach nirvana. Is that what you said?
Yes.
And explain that.
Yeah, so see the cooking, people come to a restaurant to dine.
Yes, yes.
And they come to an ethnic restaurant because their personal understanding or knowledge of that cooking is minuscule. And so when they come to a restaurant which has a offering that is not what they are used to on a day-to-day living, the first impression is the best impression. They come in, they don't know, they don't understand the menu because of the ethnic words that are used on that menu. They are not helped further because the description of that dish is not more than a sentence. So it doesn't actually tell them much about what to expect. They can't visualize. So they have to depend on those few keywords that are written below that dish to give them a rough idea of will they even like what they are going to order. And so it's all it's like a blind date.
Yes, I love it. Yes.
So it's important that I play my part by understanding the expectations of my guests who are coming to for the first time try out my menu. And that's why it's very important to be mindful of that nectar and poison.
Yes.
So,
I get it. And it's fabulous. It's just such a wonderful metaphor for life because you can either choose to be happy or you can choose to be unhappy and live in fear. And
correct.
I think that, yes, most people don't have the skills. Like you mentioned, you have to have cooking is both an art and a science, which involves a certain amount of skills. And it takes discipline. I wrote notes down here. It takes discipline. Yes, it takes understanding. It takes knowledge. And all of this adds up to being able to, on a daily basis, maintain your own happiness. So to me, what you just explained about cooking and as an art and a science, and every time someone tries out that cooking, it's like a blind date. I mean, in other words, there's always the unknown. It's always, nothing is perfect, right? In the sense of communication and connecting. I'm just fascinated by what you've said. And the other thing I love that you mentioned is going back a moment to Mahatma Gandhi. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, yes.
Okay. That it is, you said, it's not only what you think, what you say, and what you do must be in harmony.
Yes.
And isn't that the same thing as with cooking? I mean, you have to put all these ingredients together.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. That's what it is. It's a function of your consciousness. That's what it is. And that's what brings happiness. So it awakens you, and that's what I do with my cooking. I awaken my ingredients to bring out the best in themselves as each ingredient, and collectively produce something that is absolutely fantastic and flavorful. That's how I look at my cooking. So.
And again, a perfect metaphor. If we were going to create a world where people were happy and created a happy community, in other words, a peaceful, kind, generous, let's just think about the ingredients here, okay? That would be kindness, loving thoughts, making each other compassion, concern for each other. Those would be the ingredients, and they could all sort of work together to what? Create
yes,
a fabulous community of people who could actually get along.
Absolutely.
I just think, yes. I mean, we've solved the world's problems here.
Absolutely, absolutely. I remember my father telling us siblings, happiness comes through one's own thoughts, actions, and attitudes. That's what he used to tell us. And, those were things that in the moment we did not realize the importance of it, but as we grew older and we branched away from living within the roof of our mom and dad and moving out into our own world, we all realized that the fundamental human need of happiness is actually not a luxury or an optional extra. It's something that you do only through actions and interactions. So, things like that I think are important for people to learn.
Now, here's an interesting thing. You're talking about being raised in India, and I think you said Mumbai. Is that where you were raised?
Bombay, yeah.
In Bombay? Okay. So now you're talking about the fact that your mother read from the Can you say that?
Bhagwat
I can't
Gita.
say it.
Yeah, Bhagwat Gita.
Every day.
Yes.
And that your father talked to you about happiness. And I don't think in most average homes in America, these kind of discussions, even I know in my personal home when I grew up, no one talked to me about happiness, on a daily basis. And it wasn't part necessarily of my culture. And I don't think it's really necessarily a part of American culture. I would be interested to think what you feel about that. I mean, we do have the pursuit of happiness in our Constitution, right?
Yes, which I must admit I haven't read completely.
Me neither, but I'm just saying it's not.
Correct. But happiness, again, see, even the Constitution tells you about happiness. So, but happiness depends upon ourselves. Happiness is it's about the now. It's always about the now. It's not about the past or the future. It's about the now. And so, it's like my mom. She used to tell us, children, when you wake up in the morning, you have two options. You can either wake up and say, "Good morning, God," or you can say, "Oh God, it's morning." You decide. And then, so these are little things. So,
yes, but I just think that because you come from another background, another culture, raised when you were young in a completely different culture, where happiness is you discussed happiness. It was talked to you all the time. It was mentioned that this should be part of your life. That you need to actually. It's not something that's a luxury. You have to work on it. It comes from the inside. What you just said about waking up, and so forth. You've now lived in this country for a while. Do you think that these kinds of thoughts and trainings and cultural imperatives even exist in American culture? And if they do, where would you find it?
Join Sandra M. for her live performance of the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow, a toast to love and happiness in life, an uninhibited musical adventure guaranteed to awaken your happiness vibe. Celebrate with upbeat rhythms, love songs, and fun stories, some told by you in the audience. Sandra's musical guest and accompanist, Todd Lowry, sings his hopeful and happy originals. To book Sandra M. and the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow, email sandra@sandramcknight.com. Celebrate happiness with Sandra M.
see, I believe that I'm sure every human being practices some form of achieving happiness in their lives. I'm sure that many religions, practice that. Unfortunately, I don't go to church or the synagogue or the temple, or I'm not a very religious person in the sense. I don't, like many others, I don't go to church every Sunday, or I don't go to the temple, or I don't practice Sabbath, or but I'm sure people do, and it would be unwise on my part to say something that I'm not qualified to say. All I can talk about is, myself, and I remember, the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama he would say, something like, happiness is not. It doesn't come ready-made into one's lives. It comes from your own actions. It's not about. Where in your life and what stage of your life have you arrived somewhere. It's the journey that brought you there. That is more important. So things like that is what we were taught all the time at home. So
I'm very much a devotee of the Dalai Lama, and I always say in these podcasts that when the Dalai Lama talks about joy and about happiness, even in the most difficult times, you can find joy. And
correct.
Yes, and he talks about that a great deal, that people actually want to live in peace and want to be happy. People are not really, that's the truth of it. But again, we have very difficult things happen in our lives. And if you don't have some kind of, as you mentioned earlier, discipline around creating happiness in your life and finding joy even in difficult times, then it would be very difficult for you to go forward. So it is a practice. And I am very much interested in creating a happiness community. And this is one of the reasons I do the podcast, because I want people to just listen to various other people's ideas about happiness and start thinking about, well, how does that play out in my life, etc.
My mom used to tell us, on a dark, cloudy day, if you look up to the sky, you'll see that those dark clouds are threatening sometimes, because you know what comes out. There'll be lightning, but those are dark clouds. And she used to tell us that don't look at just the outside, look at the inside. That dark clouds have the tendency to release water in the form of a rain, and that rain, when it touches the earth, brings life. So it's not all bad. That dark cloud has something good about it too. So one has to think differently. My mom used to say, if you allow that, if you stop that dark cloud from releasing the water, that's when lightning happens. But when you allow it to release that water, it brings life to so many other things on earth. And that's the good part of everything. So those are things that we were taught a little differently at home. That just because something looks bad, try to look on the other side of that and see if there's any good in it, and try to explore that part.
It sounds to me like your mother was a great poet. Was she in any way a writer, or where did she get all these sort of analogies and insights?
She was a housewife. She was a housewife. She didn't go to college. She just went to school. But she practiced. She was very religious, and she was known. She was known in her circles in the city to be very practical and religious natured, and she would in her days be invited to inaugurate temples, schools, hospitals, and she would do what we called in India a puja. And so again, she practiced things that she felt made her happy, and she did not expect happiness to come in a gift-wrapped box. She said you had to achieve it with your own actions.
Well, I just find this a fascinating conversation, but I wanted to go back a little bit to, you went out of India and, as I understand, traveled the world with your chefs and cuisines, a lot of international cuisines, not only cuisines from India, and finally came to America in 2001 and went into Michigan, and then you came to our wonderful place of Santa Fe, New Mexico, and have created a number of restaurants here. I just want to take a moment to, what were some of your experiences as you went around the world cooking. I don't know what other word to say. Being a wonderful, outstanding chef.
See, when I traveled, I think the few things that I gained knowledge about and which actually made me a better person was, again, we are all human beings. We all have flesh and blood, and we have a beating heart. We all strongly believe in how we have been raised, and that does not mean we disrespect somebody else because they were raised elsewhere in a different culture. It's just that we are ignorant. We are ignorant of that culture. We are ignorant of the teachings. At one time, I used to be for a very short period of time in my very young days, I used to be a student of Osho Rajneesh.
Yes.
And he was actually, a very intelligent person. Not everything he did was right, but I remember one discourse I sat listening, and he said that when a child is born, the child is ignorant of anything and everything. If you told that child constantly that happiness is cruel and doing harm is good, that's what the child will learn and grow up to be. So I think what I learned when I traveled around the world is that it's not, the people are only showing what they have been taught.
Yes.
You can't blame them. So if there is more harmony and if there is more happiness that is being ingrained in people when they are growing up, that's what you'll see. So, and the different foods that I created, learned and created and cooked, just tell the same story. It's the same protein. It's the same mix of herbs, spices, seasonings, but the end result is so different and refreshing. So it's the end result that matters. I think that's what I got out of the whole thing.
Join Sandra M. for her live performance of the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow, a toast to love and happiness in life, an uninhibited musical adventure guaranteed to awaken your happiness vibe. Celebrate with upbeat rhythms, love songs, and fun stories, some told by you in the audience. Sandra's musical guest and accompanist, Todd Lowry, sings his hopeful and happy originals. To book Sandra M. and the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow, email sandra@sandramcknight.com. Celebrate happiness with Sandra M.
So beautiful of a way of closing our conversation together, that the end result is what matters, and that it's protein is protein, right? It's how you use the protein and what you make with it. And this has just been a delightful, delightful conversation. You are so wise. And so many things come. I never had such insight into cooking. actually even into food. To me, it's always been something that just nourishes me, and I use it for energy, right? And I have tremendous energy, but I never thought of it in the way you've expressed yourself. And so are there any final words you want to leave with us?
I think it'll suffice to say that the best time to be happy is always now.
Would you say that again? The best time?
The best time to be happy is always now.
Thank you so much, Paddy.
It's a pleasure.
Monthly Key to Happiness number 19. Give back. If you find that giving daily compliments provides a needed boost to your mood, considering making a monthly routine of giving back on a larger scale.
Maybe that's helping out at a food bank on the third weekend of every month, or offering to watch your friend's kids one night per month.
Thank you for tuning in to Season 2 of the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow podcast. And if you've enjoyed the conversation, please help spread the word by sharing with your friends and family. Newsflash! Please sign up for your copy of our Keys to Happiness at sandramcknight.com. Before we go, I'd like to thank today's guest, Paddy Rawal, for sharing his happiness story. And to share your happiness story on the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow podcast, send an email to sandra@sandramcknight.com.
Turn your smile on, you can't go wrong. You'll find that love is all around. Follow your bliss, no one is against you.